How to answer, tell us about a time you managed a conflict with a coworker in a job interview. Oh, me? I've never had a conflict. I usually just tell my manager. Oh, well, that's actually why I'm job searching. I've been very fortunate to get along very well with my colleagues throughout my career. Although I can think of one professional disagreement I had with a colleague around an important strategic decision. The two of us could not come to an agreement in a meeting, and I could sense we were both very emotionally tied to our ideas. So I suggested we table the discussion for another time. I took the evening to reflect on the situation, and the next morning I met privately with my colleague to discuss. We took some time to understand each other's perspectives, and we were able to formulate a plan that involved the best elements of both our ideas. We brought the combined idea back to the group, and it was accepted and put into action. For more tips on preparing for interviews, check out my free ebook, How to Prepare for Job Interviews. The link is in my bio.
Yeah, badass bullet point describes like a very specific accomplishment that you achieved in that job. The idea being we want to show off like a particular skill in action and show how that us using that skill led to a massive win for our employer, usually with like evidence such as numbers, dollars saved, percentage of growth, or like something to that effect that would show like I irrefutably have proven I'm good at this skill.
Do not call yourself any of these cliche phrases in your resume. No. Replace those with these modern, captivating phrases instead. And for better wording to use in your entire resume, check out my ebook, 540 Badass Bullet Points for Your Resume. It's linked in my... The most badass resume bullet points I've ever seen. These are 10 out of 10. They check all the boxes. Prepared for and navigated 10 consecutive annual audits with a 100% success rate. We've got our action verbs, quantifiable detail, and results. Onboarded 3 new partners to the practice, increasing revenue by 450%. Again, action verbs, quantifiable detail, and results. Generated 11% revenue growth in Q4 through the launch of 2 new strategic initiatives. And you see them again, this time in a different order. Managed a team to ship 2,000 orders per week, consistently leading to on-time delivery. And you guessed it, all 3 of those things are there. Like this video and follow me for more job search tips. And for more badass bullet points, as well as a formula on how to write your own, check out my free ebook, 54 Badass Bullet Points for Your Resume, linked in my bio. And remember, you deserve a job you love. Let's turn this 1 out of 10 resume into a 10 out of 10 resume. First, we've got a master's, so let's add that to the name. Much better. Next, we don't need the street address. Bye-bye. Objective statement? Absolutely not. This is not the 1990s. Skills are great, but this formatting's ugly. So we'll use a table to organize it. Much better. Education? First, we'll use the formal credentials. Much better. And we'll get rid of the years because it's more than 10 years old. We're also going to move this section to the bottom because it's not quite as important as the experience. First thing we're going to do is add months and cities of our employer. We're also going to get rid of this last job because it's more than 20 years ago. It was a great time, but bye-bye. We're going to add some action verbs and numbers to the bullet points. Much better. Look at all those numbers. And we'll jazz up the formatting a little. And boom, much better. Resume resources available. Robots are reading your resume and deciding if you're worth interviewing before a person ever looks at your resume. These robots are looking for key words, which are generally 3 things. Number 1 is tasks you'll be doing and skills you'll be using on the job. Number 2 is equipment, tools, or software you'll be using in this job. And number 3 is industry terminology specific to the industry. You can find these in the job postings you're applying to, and we want to put each of them 2 to 3 times in our resume. To do that, we're going to use an areas of expertise section like this, and then a technical proficiency section like this. For bonus points, use those keywords again throughout your bullet points. For help doing all this, check out my brand new Ultimate Resume and Cover Letter bundle with templates, sample resumes, and everything you need. There's a link in my bio. If you've been applying to jobs and not hearing back, stop scrolling. Hiring managers are giving your resume only about 6 seconds of attention, and they are reading it in an F pattern. So here's how you design your resume to have the right words read in that F formation. First, along the top, we're going to give ourselves a nice clear brand, then a strong professional summary, and some keywords here. And this last part is super important. By the way, all my best resume templates and resources can be found in my Mega Resume and Cover Letter bundle, which is in my bio. The most important thing to do to take advantage of this F formation, to get them to actually read your bullet points and see how impressive you are, is to give the bullet points titles in bold like we did here. That's going to capture that down part of the F and get them to read across. If your resume looks like any of these, you are cruising for a not getting any interviews. Okay, so I'll admit this one's nicely designed. We don't need a photo. And also, where are all the words? No one is going to hire you if we don't know anything about you. We need at least 500 words in a resume. This is a fun layout, but it relies on text boxes, so we are not ATS friendly. Also, we need some bullet points. This one looks kind of cool. I do like the key skills, but objective statements just tell me that you are old. Most of these jobs have no details, so why do I care? And the one that does have detail doesn't have any bullet points. We don't know if you're good at this. Okay, so once again, we don't need a photo. And also, where is your shirt, Benjamin? Ah, much better. Also, this weird newspaper layout is just not going to work. Now, here's a good one. This is my most popular resume template. It has lots of space for professional branding, like a title, professional summary, career highlights, expertise, key skills. It's made with the columns feature in Word, so it's ATS friendly. And it's available right now in my bio. Here are some unethical hacks you can use to make yourself seem more likable on LinkedIn. And likable people are more likely to get hired. 1. Add some personal detail in your banner image. This could be a picture of you doing one of your hobbies. 2. Add a personal detail in your headline. Here's my profile headline: professional, 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 personal. 3. In your about statement, make your final sentence say, when I'm not at work, you might also find me, and then list some of your hobbies. Here's how to answer one of the trickiest interview questions: why do you want this job? So listen, I get that money is probably the number one reason you want this job. However, think about it from the employer side. Would you want to hire someone who was only in it for the money? So here is how we answer this question, and there's 2 parts. 1, tell them the parts of the job that you're most excited to do, and don't be afraid to let that excitement come out in your voice, because employers love to see some emotion in interviews. 2, tell them why you want to work at their company specifically, and make them feel special. And some final advice: hiring panels really like when you're genuine about these, so do some soul searching and come up with real answers that you're really excited to share. Now, in order to get interviews, you're going to need a great resume, so check out my free resume writing course linked in my bio. Don't forget to follow me and like the video for more job search tips, and remember, you deserve a job you love. If you stay in a job too long, you are screwed. But if you're not at a job long enough, you're even more screwed. So how long should we stay in a job? On the maximum side, if you are staying in a job more than 5 years, make sure you are consistently taking on more responsibilities or getting promoted. Otherwise, you're going to look complacent and incompetent. On the minimum side, you are going to look unreliable and incompetent if you're staying in a job for less than 1 year. But sometimes we have to leave a job before 12 months. It does happen. My advice is, if you have to do that, make sure you don't do it twice in a row, because then it becomes a pattern and they're going to think you are the problem.